Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pastor Bruce. Welcome to amvoice.net and One Man's Opinion. Today I want to talk to you about a couple of people. First and foremost is Hillary Clinton, because I'm about as sick and tired of listening to this woman whine, cry, and complain, trying to manipulate this country into putting her into the position of the presidency of the United States when she clearly does not deserve it. Now, for all of you young Democrats who are millennials, pay attention to this. Read her book. What did she do wrong? Absolutely nothing. It was everybody else who caused her to lose the election. It wasn't her. It was everybody else. Do you want a person who's going to blame everybody else for their failure? Is that how you were raised? Well, I didn't fail the test. My neighbor cheated off of me and I failed the test. No, come on. Let us be realistic and honest about this. She's blaming everybody but herself. She was a flawed candidate. Now let's go back a couple of presidential nominees. When she ran against Obama, because she had the sympathy vote of the country because of her deviant husband, who was impeached by Congress for lying to Congress, which, what did it do? What did it do? It still allowed him to leave out of the White House. It still allowed, and that's a felony, people. That is a felony. Go into the government system and read up on what happens if you're receiving a federal retirement check and you are convicted of a felony. Guess what you lose? That's right. You lose your retirement. You're supposed to walk around as a very good, polite citizen of this country. Uncle Sam's still paying you, so respect the country. He got convicted of a felony, and he's still running around collecting retirement as president of the United States. Do you see how the system is flawed towards him? A deviant sex offender, and he's getting away with it. So everybody's up in arms about his behavior. So, we feel so sorry for Hillary. We really do. So when they left the office, did they go back to Arkansas? No. Why? Arkansas is more Republican than Democrat. She wanted to be a voice in the Senate in order to get her notice so that she could run for the presidency. Keep that in mind when it comes to Chelsea. So what happens? And listen to what she's saying. We left the White House poor. How many people can leave their homes poor and walk into a multi-million-dollar home? She had money. And McAuliffe, there's another one, people. That's the one who helped them buy the house. He put the down payment down. He helped them buy the house. But Terry McAuliffe, I believe, go back and study history, I believe he was running between the FBI and the White House, collecting personnel records, confidential records, and he didn't even have a classified clearance to be able to handle this stuff. And it shows the corruption right there, that they're sending somebody who's not authorized to have access to classified material. They're sending them over to the FBI, and they're getting records on Republicans. They needed the dirt. They're going to cheat every which way they could in order to keep Bill's name clear. But they lost. They really did. So now, in the news, if you don't understand what's going on with these protest marches against Donald Trump, it's all to turn the minds of the American people away from the presidency and turn it towards Hillary Clinton. It's a way for her to cheat the system. Now, how does she cheat the system? Well, let's see. Against Obama, she was winning, as I was saying, but then Obama started to pick up. Does the news media tell you the comment that she made back then, where they sort of suspected she was saying it was open season to assassinate Obama? She said it in one of her comments. Not directly go out and assassinate him, but her roundabout comments. That's what she said. And a couple of weeks after that, she resigned from the race, and she gave it over to Obama. Was that planned? Or was it because she couldn't win against Obama? All right, that's the Democratic Party. Well, we want to be the first to have a black president. We want to be the first to have a female president, because it's not because they're the best for the country. It's because they want to be the party of the people. Well, we've seen over the last 8 years of Obama that that's not the case. It really isn't. But we're sticking with Hillary. So she dropped out of the race against Obama. And now she's running again. And again, she's got because she spent 8 years in Congress, she's been the Secretary of State, she's got the power. She's got the knowledge. She's got the experience. She's able to move forward to become the nominee of the presidency of the United States. Oh, wait a minute. Here comes Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is coming up with a message for the people. And he's starting to take over. He's starting to get the votes. He's starting to become the presidential nominee for the Democratic Party. And she couldn't have that. So she got her friend Debbie Wasserman Schultz to cheat when it came to the delegates, for the delegates to vote for Hillary Clinton. Not because she was a good candidate, but because they believed we should have the first woman in the White House. That's all. They didn't care that they were cheating. And so therefore, what happened? Bernie Sanders came out and said, this is rigged against me. And later on, during the DNC convention, it was proven. It was rigged against him. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was fired from her position because she did that. We know that a CNN news commentator gave her the questions prior to one of the debates with Bill Clinton. And so she was already prepared for the exact question. Now, she complains in her book that, well, he stood behind me and made me nervous and this, that, and the other thing. But look at the debate. He was standing by his podium. She came over and stood in front of him saying, look it, I'm more powerful than you. You have to understand body language, people. I'm more powerful. And then she turned around because it didn't work and blamed him for standing over her. Do you want to understand why millennials, we don't like Hillary Clinton? Now, I was a Democrat for years. I was raised in New York. There's two things about New York. You're Democrat, and there's only two religions, Jews and the Catholics. Of course, that's changed over the course of the years, but that's the way I was raised. And yet, look at what she's done. She has disgraced not only her position as Secretary of State, when she promised 200,000 jobs to Northern New York, and what happened during her time as senator, not only did she not fulfill those 200,000 jobs, but because of the NAFTA Act, businesses from Northern New York left. So how did she win a second term? Look at the map, people. Because of the great population of Democrats in New York City who are living high on the hog, voted for her. That's the only way she won. So understand, please, that she's not a very good candidate. And we didn't want that pervert Bill Clinton back in the White House in any way, shape, or form. Do you understand that? For you millennials, he was impeached because of his deviant behavior with women and his lying to Congress. Now, she said that they left the White House poor. They left the White House poor because of all of the legal fees. But for you young millennials, understand this. Go back and study history. They opened up the Clinton Legal Fund. And people like Harvey Weinstein, who gave $10,000 to the fund to protect the president. Do you think that they know his lifestyle? You better believe they know his lifestyle. So he gave $10,000 and others gave. And that money that they gave for his legal defense went towards paying off his legal bills. And they still had the money that he was making as president of the United States. Now, I said this before, I'll say it again. If you're convicted as a felon in the government, you lose your retirement. Plain and simple. So you have to walk the straight and narrow. He was convicted of a felony. He lied to Congress and was found guilty. That's a felony. He should have lost his retirement check. He shouldn't even be anywhere near that White House now. And yet, his wife is running for presidency of the United States. She lost to Obama. She almost lost to Bernie Sanders until they cheated. So now, here comes the election of 2016. I'm the queen. I deserve to be president of the United States. I deserve this because I am a woman. And guess what? The news media was shocked when the final tally came in and the Electoral College voted for Donald Trump. Now, you understand what the Electoral College is all about, because you millennials don't, and they're not going to tell you. States like Rhode Island, Connecticut, Midwestern states that have very low populations, everybody votes in their state, and whoever they vote for gets the Electoral College votes. Okay? So it doesn't matter the popular vote. What matters is winning the Electoral College vote. Did she go after that? No, she was going after the popular vote. Was she going after the popular vote? No, she was going after the Latino vote and the black vote. And she said, screw the white people because I've got more Latinos and blacks. You want to talk about discriminatory? I only want you so you can vote for me. So in she goes. And thanks to the Electoral College, which has been around since this country was founded 241 years ago, she lost the election. The voice of the people through the Electoral College was heard, and Donald Trump was elected as President of the United States. Now, she may not like that idea. I don't care if she likes the idea or not. That is the system that's been in place. So now she's talking about doing away with the Electoral College. Hold on a minute. Debbie Wasserman Schultz cheated for her to get her as the nominee for the Democratic Party. Bernie Sanders took a seat behind her, but he should have filed all sorts of complaints, and he should have been the nominee. But no, we got to keep unity for a flawed candidate. So now what happens? Let's do away with the Electoral College. Because why? California and New York are the hubs of the Democratic Party. If you go back and look at how they voted, if you were to take half of those votes and put them towards the Republicans, or if you were to just take those two out, Donald Trump would have won by 6 to 11 million votes. Because you took out Los Angeles and you took out New York City. Los Angeles County and New York City. 11 million votes. Does that tell you where the power is? I won't say the power. Does that tell you where the Democratic Party lives? And look at California and some of the things that they're doing, which we'll talk about in another podcast. But understand, if you took those out, not only would Donald Trump won the popular vote, he would have won the Electoral College. And because of that, that's what the Electoral College is about. He wins the presidency. But she can't accept that because she's acting like a spoiled little girl who's been given everything, who's been in position of power and says, I want this, I expect you to give it to me. And that's exactly what it was when it came to the presidency of the United States. I want it, you give it to me, and shut up and don't say anything more. Now she's out on a book tour trying to sell a book, blaming everybody else for her failure. If that was a guy out there on the book tour saying, well, you know, it wasn't me who lost. No. She's a flawed candidate. So therefore, she doesn't belong. Now, for you millennials that aren't paying attention, what are the 5 founding ideals of the American way of life? See, they don't teach us in history anymore. They don't teach us in politics anymore. All they teach is Democrats want to be in control and we want it, shut up and vote for us. And we'll bring in illegal foreigners into this country, and we'll have them vote for us because we want the power. And look at how we're taking care of you. We'll give you welfare. We'll give you Social Security checks. We'll give you food stamps. We'll give you low-income housing. Come on in. Come on into America. Vote for us. 5 founding ideals. And I'm going to say this throughout a lot of my broadcasts so you get the idea if you listen to any of them. First one is democracy, a system of government in which everyone participates equally. Under Clinton's rule, that's not going to happen. You see, that's what the Electoral College is about. Everyone participates equally. She wants to do away with it because she doesn't care about everybody being treated equally. She cares about her winning the presidency. She cares about the Democrats taking control and demoralizing us down to a socialist nation. Now, notice that I said 241 years this system has been around. We became the most powerful nation in 1945. We became the leader of the world in 1945. And I've said it in part of my podcast before. Look at China, Russia, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, England, Mexico, Japan. If I said it twice, I'm sorry. But look at all of these major countries that have been around since the BCs. It's over 2,000 years. Why aren't they leaders? Why aren't they leaders? We know that the English, who are good people, and don't get me wrong, I'm not denouncing anybody today, but the English were about power and control. Everywhere they went, they took over. The Romans did the same thing. Everywhere they went, they took over. They put their government in place and they ran the government. Now, during the time of Jesus Christ, it was a good thing because they cleaned up the seas, they cleaned up the roadways, they brought law and order to that particular part of the country. So for you Christians, when you study about Jesus Christ, it wasn't a hard time when he came into this world. It was a good time for the people. So the Romans, they were taking over the world, one country at a time, until they lost. Then come the English, and the English were doing the same thing. Everywhere they went, they created colonies. We were 13 colonies under British rule, till we said no. But you still had colonies in South Africa, where they were ruling down in South Africa, until they gave it back. So understand, when countries go out there and they bring in their form of government, they bring in their military, and they dictate to the people, that is socialism, government control. And then Adolf Hitler tried the same thing. But unlike the English, he went in with power. He went in with fear, threats. English just went in and took over because they were the power. And we defeated socialism, totalitarianism, fascism, communism. We defeated all of these different isms because we are a democratic republic. And at the end of 1945, we won. We really did. And that is the way it should be. Okay? That is the way it should be. That the people who treat the rest of the world with respect should be the leaders. And our democratic system, a system of government in which everyone participates in. All of these protest marches that are out there deny the conservatives a voice. Is that everyone participating? All of these protest marches because they want Hillary Clinton back in the White House. A Democrat, is that everybody participating? And then rights. A privilege given to a person by the government. Well, there's two rights. There's the rights of God. God gave us the freedom to move wherever we want to go. He gave us the freedom to speak with a voice and a mind. So not only do we have the privileges of God, we have the privileges of the government. She wants to take away those privileges. And we see that because freedom of speech is a privilege, and the left is trying to shut down the speech of the right. We've seen it time and time again. Liberty, the freedom to do what you want. That's what liberty is about. If you want to go to a college and you want to speak out as a conservative, that's your liberty. But Hillary Clinton's left machine does not want you to do that, because if you do that, you're going to know the truth about what the left is all about, and they want to shut it down so that they can continue to lie to you and make you believe that this is what is right for the American people. Opportunity. The choice or chance to do what you want to improve your life. No, people, that's not her way. Equality, the ideal that everyone is treated equally and or fairly. Now again, go back and look at her campaign. She went after the Latino vote, she went after the black vote, and she said, screw the American white man. Is that equality? I don't need you because I've got the blacks and the Latinos. That's discriminatory. That's called reverse discrimination. And she tried to get away with it and failed. She lost. Because as a country, us, U.S., United States, as a country, we voted for Donald Trump. And he won the Electoral College. So understand that it's important to see the truth about what's going on in the world today. And in doing that, we have to understand that back 169 years of being our own nation, going from 13 colonies to the United States of America, 169 years, we became the most powerful nation in the world against nations that have been around for thousands of years. Why? Because of our 5 founding ideals that we have. They don't have it. They don't have it. Socialism, communism, totalitarianism, fascism, all suppress the people. All suppress the voice of the people. Isn't that what's happening when the conservatives and the right aren't allowed to come out and speak freely? You're suppressing the voice of the people. That's what those different organizations or different forms of government believe. Now, enough on her. I'm sick and tired of her. For you millennials, wake up, smell the roses, and understand. She's only using your color and your race as being Latino and black just to get the vote and get into the White House. That's it. Second person I want to talk to about is Colin Kaepernick. You know, here's another one that is a pathetic human being. Okay? Because he got a contract for $142 million to be a quarterback. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to seriously take a look. What is the benefit of a quarterback? What's the benefit of him? If he went away tomorrow, would anybody care? No. If they ended football, would anybody care? Not from a sports position, but from a societal position. What does sports actually contribute to our society? Really, I mean, look at it. So here's this loudmouth who's got a 1970s hairstyle come out talking about how white cops are killing blacks and blacks are being suppressed by the whites in this country. You know, don't bother to look at the facts because he's not looking at it. Killed by police during arrest by circumstances. This is 2012 supplemental homicide report from the FBI. 13% of the arrests in this country where people were shot and killed are black. Hello? 13%. But then we have to go over to the Hispanics. Do you know that 17%? There's more Hispanics being killed by police during arrests than blacks. And then you ready? 63% are white. Now all victims, 31% are black, 52% are white, and 12% are Latinos. Not attacking when killed, 39%, 46% black, white, 12% Latino. Not attacking when killed, not killed with a rifle or a shotgun. Not attacking when killed, not killed with a rifle or a shotgun. 42% black, 44% white, 12% Hispanic. Do you see in all of the statistics that have been accumulated by the police departments over the course of the years and given to, or the months, and given to the FBI nationally, however you look at it, by population, by victim, by non-attack with a knife, by non-attack with not shotgun or rifle, the black population is the lesser population compared to the whites. The lesser population. And when you look at how many, and this is just saying police, because you know black police shoot people too. They really do. But when you look at the number of white cops that shoot black men, if you took the last 20 years, you couldn't match the numbers of blacks killing blacks in Chicago of 4,000 a year. It's not going to come up. But you take 10 years of history, and it's not going to equal 1 year in Chicago. Yet, whites are discriminating against blacks. This clown sits there with his 70s hairdo, which is probably pulling on his brain cells, doesn't have a clue what he's talking about. And again, I have to ask, how much of his $142 million did he surrender to the local community to help them improve the inner city or to improve the inner city schools? How often did he get out there into the public and work with the kids and make the life better for the kids in that community? Again, this is a ploy on the part of the Democratic Party. Because you see, a lot of the people today are more for football than they are for baseball, the all-American sport. Oh, that's because baseball was a white man's sport. So we have to do away with baseball because that was discriminatory. Yet if you look at it, that's probably about the most balanced. We bring people in from other countries to play in. Does the football team? Any football team? We've got enough people in this country to fill baseball teams and football teams for each state. But baseball brings in people from other countries. I want you to think about that. Colin Kaepernick is a loudmouth who knew his life was winding down, that he had nowhere to go, he had no future, and that's what happened. And so when he started this protest and kneeling because of the way blacks were treated by white cops is an insult not only to every policeman in this country, but everyone who's given their life and their dedication to making sure he had the ability to do it. That's right. Can you imagine if the armies fell and we became a socialist nation? Do you think he'd be doing that? Or if a totalitarian government came in, do you think he'd be able to do that? No. He would be dictated to. Now, someone said that sports is nothing more than slavery. I agree with that because you're not allowed to voice your opinion. You're there to entertain the American people, and voicing your own political or social issues is not entertaining the people. And look at how many sports figures in football, drunk drivers, domestic assaults, drug use, sexual assaults. How many have gotten away with it and deserve to have a second chance? How many? And yeah, we have to look at San Francisco 49ers because let me tell you, they get some deviants up there. Lance Rensel, played for Dallas Cowboys, was caught exposing himself to children. Where did he end his season? San Francisco 49ers. They allowed it. Put him in counseling. Should never have been allowed back out on the football field. These drug users, these women abusers, the drunk drivers, they shouldn't be allowed back out on the football field, because what does it say to the American public? Oh, because we're making $2.2 million on an average or more, we're allowed to get away with it. You're not. So get over it. And by the way, you spend your $100, come watch me play football, baseball, basketball. You see, what happened with sports in this country is that the lawyers got involved in it and said, hey, this is nothing more than what? Entertainment, just like Hollywood. And now we see the connection. Weinstein and his deviant behavior with women, his rapes, his sexual assaults, his fondling of women because he's got money and power. Now we can throw sports people in there as well, because it's not a sport, it's entertainment. And because it's entertainment, they can get away with whatever they want. And there are people out there in the entertainment world that is doing that, exactly doing that. Wife beaters, drug users are getting away with it. Yeah, they got a felony on the records. Who cares? Because Hollywood's going to keep them working anyway, because they think they're good, and they'll continue to use their drugs. They'll continue to drink. They'll continue to abuse people, because Hollywood thinks they're the power of this country. The government doesn't matter anymore. Hollywood runs this country. Hollywood dictates to you through that little idiot box what's going on. And they've got mental morons like Colin Kaepernick out there thinking he's doing something important when he's doing nothing more than destroying the American way of life. So, in closing, let me ask you, are you happy with America? Do you believe in a democracy, in a system of government in which everybody participates equally? That has the right, a privilege given to a person by the government to be who they want to be free? Liberty, the freedom to do what it is you want to do? The opportunity. Here's the big one, people. This is what Donald Trump is trying to bring back into this country. The opportunity for you to choose or have a chance to do what you want to improve your life. Do you want to stay on welfare? Do you want to stay on food stamps? Do you want to stay on live in low-income housing? Or do you want to improve your life? Opportunity. And if Donald Trump brings jobs back to America, you're going to have the opportunity to do that. To better your life. To buy your own insurance instead of having to be a slave to the government and have the government take care of you. Equality. That you as an individual, no matter your political position, no matter your race, your religion, anything, you will be treated equally and or fairly. And understand, the Democrats don't want religion in this country. And who supports the Democrats? But the American Atheist Organization. They want to destroy religion. Got to go back to 1925, Bolshevik Russia, and the revolution. What happened? What was the first thing that they attacked? We need a government now. We need a Justice Department and an FBI now that's going to stop with all these councils and everything else like that. We need them to make arrests. The Clintons, Loretta Lynch, James Comey, the Obamas, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Harry Reid, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer. They all need to be arrested. And there's more. I've got a list of about 25 people that need to be arrested in government because of their treasonous acts and ideologies that are trying to destroy the American way of life. They're both black and white, people. Both black and white. And as each one of these mental midgets come out and open their mouth against the American way of life, They need to be added to the list. I want you to think about this. They have a commission of Democratic lawyers, who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars to investigate President Donald Trump and his connection with Russia. We're 10 months into the investigation and they've come up with nothing. They've come up with nothing. What they're doing is they're soaking the American people and filling the pockets of the Democratic Party. That's what it was all intended to do. They have no collusion, but they do with Hillary Clinton. They do with Obama. They have the collusion with them. They show the corruption that was going on between Hillary Clinton, Obama, the nuclear materials that we were selling to them. We have the connection. But in order to ensure that the Democrats are not touched, they put the blame on the Republicans. You need to wake up, people. I say we start a third party. I said we start the People's Party of America. And that People's Party of America is going to be on the founding 5 fundamental ideologies that we have. Democracy, rights, liberty, opportunity, equality. President Trump believes in these things. He's trying to work to make America great again because over the last, we're saying 7 years, but I'm going to go back even during the Bush administrations. They destroyed this country. When Bush was running against Clinton, there was an individual there also at the time called Perot. He was a businessman. And when we were debating where I was at about who should be the president of the United States, Bush, Clinton, or Perot, one of the individuals came up and said, it really doesn't matter. And we said, why? He said, because they all belong to the Trilateral Commission. And it's the Trilateral Commission that's working in America as a secret organization to try to create a one world government. We know by the article on the net, the UN agenda by 2030 is they want to have a one world government under socialism. So this is why the attack, ladies and gentlemen, on our democracy and on our way of life. The rest of the world hates it because, what I say, in 169 years we became the most powerful nation in the world. And we have a system that's been in place for 241 years that has not only benefited every American person, but benefited people around the world. You have a choice. You really do. You want socialism? Go to Venezuela. Live in Venezuela for a while. See what it's like down there. Go over to a social democracy in England. See what it's like there. Yeah, they have free health. You want to talk, the VA is a prime reason why we should not have government-controlled health care. When I was needed to make an appointment with my primary care doctor here in my hometown, I call up, I would have to wait about 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Non-emergency, so 2 weeks. But now I'm on the VA's radar because of my disabilities. And so I call up the VA to make an appointment. 3 months before I can get in to see a doctor. 3 months compared to 2 weeks. That is government-controlled healthcare compared to civilian-controlled healthcare. Now, I have, if you listen and read, I have a way to do away with the government-controlled healthcare that everybody benefits from. Everybody benefits from. And I've sent it off to the President of the United States in a letter. Why? Because, I text him. I don't hear anything out of his texts. I email him. I don't hear anything back from the email. So I figured this way, I know it's going to get to his office. And he's going to review it. It's a simple plan. It really is. It doesn't cost anything for the government. As a matter of fact, the government in the long term will make money off of this plan. and they will stay out of trying to control our health care. The only thing the government will be responsible to do is control the pricing. I just got a bill for going into an emergency room because I stepped on a nail and put a hole in my foot. And as a diabetic, if any of you are diabetic, you understand it. The bill was $2,348 to check out a hole in my foot. And then that's not including the doctor's bill. The doctor charged $500, $515. So almost $3,000 to go in to check out my foot. And think about this. I saw the doctor twice for maybe a total of 10 minutes, and he's getting $515. These are outrageous prices. What they need to do is the government needs to sit there and say, we're not going to control. We're going to control how much you charge. I've spoken about it before. I went in for a stress test. My stress test, my insurance company paid $990. And when I got the bill from the hospital charged over $14,000. When I called them up, I said, how can you charge that much? Because some insurance companies will pay it. Those are the HMOs, people. You want to stay in our network? Pay the price we tell you to pay. Stop the HMOs. Government control, no longer. So these are some things to think about. And I hope, and if you have contact with the president, I hope you will sit there and say, please look at the outline that was sent to you about the new health care plan, the simple health care plan. It'll work because all of the people are involved equally. And every man, woman, and child will be insured, whether they want to be or not. It's not a law saying you have to have insurance, but as soon as you walk into a doctor's office, as soon as you walk into an emergency room or you're put into the hospital, your information is put into the system, and either you're covered and you have to pay for it, or the government will pay for it. Now, it's a little bit more in depth, but basically that's what it comes down to. So these two people I talked about, Hillary Clinton, Colin Kaepernick, they need to go away. They need to shut up. They need to be in the wind like Jesse Jackson. He no longer speaks out like he used to. And they need to take Albert Sharpton with them. That's another one that needs to be arrested. He has promoted hatred in this country and racism in this country for years. That's treasonous. But he's doing it for the Democratic Party to separate the whites from the blacks, and he's supporting the black. And even him, go online and look. Albert Sharpton says Clinton lied. I listened to the black radio station in New York when he came on and talked about how Bill Clinton lied to him. There are bloopers out there with open mics. Talked about how the Democrats cheated the black people in this community, but or country rather. Yet blacks continue to be ignorant and stupid only because they're given welfare, they're given food stamps, they're given low-income housing, and they're allowed to sell drugs in the street. And I could be exaggerating. But the Democrats are allowing them to be whoever they want to be and giving them money to do it one way or the other so that they can vote for the Democrats. Because the Democrats don't care about you. They care about you being a slave in this country. You better open your eyes and understand the truth. You may not like what I have to say, but the truth will always set you free. I thank you again. God bless. There is a button here for you to give a donation. $1, $2, $5, I don't care. The more we have, the more we can start doing what's needed to be done to make changes to this country that are better for all of the people. I thank you again. God bless and take care.